G'day! Hi, everybody. Wait for people to be chilling in the chat, and then we'll start going through all the new stuff. But there's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's very crazy. That was really weird. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Redistricting is going fucking crazy. But now Democrats are starting to do it too. I want some good analysis on this.
Wow.
What? Who?
What do you mean, who?
Who looks old? Trump?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. True.
Sleepy Donald.
Jesus, true. Huh. This was 8 months ago.
In Texas has threatened to ignite the battle over redistricting in Texas has threatened to ignite a partisan redistricting arms race. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom says his state will respond to Texas and call a November special election over redistricting to redraw California's maps. Meanwhile, Republican-controlled states from Missouri to Indiana to Florida are being encouraged by President Trump and Vice President Vance to take a look at their district maps ahead of the midterms. Joining me now is the expert on all things redistricting, Cook Political Report senior editor and elections analyst Dave Wasserman. So, Dave, let's first talk about this big picture. How is this redistricting arms race going to shake out? I mean, how many states could you see changing their lines, and what impact could that have on the midterms?
Ryan, this has the potential to be the gerrymandering apocalypse we've all feared, given that increasingly for both parties, the ends have justified the means. And Republicans are obviously desperate to hold their majority. They know that President Trump's approval rating's not great, that the bill they passed isn't that popular. And so adding insurance and piling on sandbags to their very thin majority, the only way they can do that is by redistricting Texas. We knew they were going to redistrict Florida, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio. We knew they were going to redistrict. If Florida joins in, it could potentially triple the Republican cushion heading into 2026. And the big question is whether California Democrats are able to retaliate, because they are going to be unveiling a map that essentially wields an axe over the careers of up to 5 California Republicans, hoping that will dial up the pressure on Republicans elsewhere to dial back their efforts.
So on just the sheer lines alone, does one party have an advantage over the other if this goes forward, as you describe it, as the gerrymander apocalypse?
If both parties pursue every avenue they can, Republicans will come out ahead, because Republicans, they simply have more states that they control, more Democratic seats that they can go after. In Texas, if they pass the map we expect them to, that's 3 to 5 seats. Missouri, Indiana, very likely 1 seat apiece. Ohio, likely 2 seats. Florida, perhaps an additional 3 or 4 seats. Whereas Democrats are pretty maxed out in the states that they control. They hold every seat in Massachusetts and New Mexico. They hold a 14-3 advantage in Illinois, and it's almost impossible to squeeze out another Democratic seat there. California is really the only state that they can revisit that would yield big dividends, but in order to do so, they have to convince the voters first. And so Democrats face procedural constraints, thanks to the reforms blue states have implemented, that make it harder for them to go maximal in the way that Republicans are doing.
I want to play something that Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Monday. Take a listen.
Look at the map of Illinois. Look at the map of California, New York, and Massachusetts, and so many other blue states. They gerrymandered a long time ago.
Bro, Republican states have been gerrymandering for way longer, and there's like more of them that did it. Y'all never acknowledge that.
They got nothing left with regard to what they can do. And
That's
know
not
this,
true.
if California tries to gerrymander 5 more districts, listen, Texas has the ability to eliminate 10 Democrats in our state.
Is that a legitimate threat? Can he safely draw the lines to eliminate 10 Democratic seats in Texas? I mean, I would have to imagine at some point you're going to create districts that are more competitive in other places, and it wouldn't necessarily be a guarantee.
Yeah, that's not a legitimate threat, and it would require a work of abstract art that the incumbent Republican members of Texas's delegation would oppose. So, look, it is very possible for Republicans to eliminate 5 Democrats in the Lone Star State, go from 25 to 13 to 30 to 8. But Greg Abbott's threat isn't borne out by what's possible on the map, realistically.
Okay, well, if there's anyone to go through the gerrymander apocalypse with, Dave Wasserman, I would want it to be you. Thank you so much for your expertise, my friend.
Oh, yeah. There was a governor's debate. What up, neighbor Rooney? All right, buddy. What do you think? What do you think now? I mean, yeah, I saw that it happened. I didn't watch it. Is it worth watching or not? All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Some of these Democrats really need to drop out. Like, it's not going to happen, bro. Give it up. Oh, shit. He started up here, right? On inflation. Oh. What do you think about Becerra? He looks like he's taking the lead now. Better than Steyer, I agree. Remember when we were like, I kind of like Steyer. Maybe we go for him? And then we saw him debate and we were like, oh, no. Yeah. Good role model. The fact that this is above 0% is crazy. Yeah. True. I think Becerra is generally more moderate. Honest. Keeps his promises. Mentally sharp. Stands up for what he believes. There's a problem with this. Because he doesn't actually believe in anything. Oh. Well. He's still a Democrat. So. Most Democrats, unfortunately, do. Why? That just means they're not going to be able to pay things out. That's such a dumb idea. Exactly. I'll tell you, man, this gerrymandering ruling has me raging so fucking pissed off. And like it's so stupid too, because they're like, oh, like it's racist to use race to decide gerrymandering. And it was like, you understand the purpose of it was to prevent racism in the gerrymandering. No, it's not. It's not. It actually isn't. It actually isn't, because like I've looked at it, and on its absolute face, it feels like the morally correct decision. But the entire purpose of it is to actually prevent racial underrepresentation, right? That's what the the Voter Rights Act was for. So now you get to gerrymander racially, but for white people, just not for black people. Right. In an ideal world, that's the case. But realistically, the people who draw the maps know who lives where. And different groups of people have different interests. And the whole point of representation is to represent those different interests.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, I agree. So like for example, you know, you have black people in Louisiana are going to have different interests, voting interests, than white people in Louisiana. But if all of the areas with black people, right, have all the districts have majority white voters, then the representation for those black people falls away, and their interests, which are separate from those of white people in Louisiana, fall away. Races are not monoliths. Well, I agree, but by and large, there are currently still a lot of similar interests in with minorities within the United States. Yeah. To be clear, I think the response races are not monoliths somewhat sidesteps like the issue here. They're not monoliths, but there's still a lot of, you know, leftover I know we've talked about this, right? There's leftover impacts of systemic racism from back in Jim Crow days, like redlining and all of this stuff, that still affect these different races. And in order to properly represent the interests of people who are living in underserviced neighborhoods, I think it's important to have representation.
Mm-hmm.
If you group those underserviced neighborhoods with wealthy neighborhoods or more middle class neighborhoods, then those lower class neighborhoods are not being properly represented. Like, ideally, Congress, the racial makeup of Congress would reflect the racial makeup of the United States as a whole, right? Areas where there are more black people would be more likely to be represented by a black person who has lived through the same sort of stuff that their constituents have who understand the different issues that they face specifically. I would love to say, you know, that we live in a world where that isn't a necessity, but I don't know if we're quite there yet.
I
I
think
think
that
that
we
we
focus
focus
too much on equality, and it's really supposed to be about equity, providing
Well,
support based on their individual needs to
Yeah.
ensure outcomes.
so yeah, neighbor Rooney. It is currently. It's about to be less. Because, for example, we know that district in Louisiana is being eliminated. By this ruling. Yep.
I'm here. I'm watching.
I mean, you understand my reasoning though about like certain districts should be accurately represented, right? And having districts that cross over like a wide variety of different types of people means that it's going to be difficult for everybody through different backgrounds and different sort of life state of life to be, it's going to make it more difficult for them all to be accurately represented by their representative. Uh-oh. Am I good? Okay. Cool. So I guess like the conversation becomes, how do we do that accurately? And the best we had at the moment was the VRA. And that's kind of why I'm really upset about that. If they had come and they said, here, we have a better way to do this, I'd be like, great, cool, let's do it then. But of course, we know that's not the purpose of why they're doing this, obviously. The purpose of why they're doing this is that Republicans know demographically they have a very difficult path forward over the next few decades. That's why they're doing all of the unitary executive stuff. That's why the Heritage Foundation is doing its stuff. That's why they've been aggressively gerrymandering over the last 20 years. But you know, here's the thing. Even without the VRA, they can do all these things they want. It's still a ticking time bomb. Texas is going to shift more blue. And in 10 to 20 years, once Texas goes blue, it's over. You can only gerrymander so much before, you know, you're creating just new competitive districts. Ideally, the districts are proportional to the overall partisanship of the state. I agree. That's what I would like to see. That's how it kind of was in California prior to Prop 50, which of course was a response to Texas, and only temporary. But I agree. I would like to see the districts being proportional to the overall partisanship of the state. The hilarious thing that I keep seeing is Republicans pointing to like New England and being like, "See, Republicans have 0 seats in fucking, you know, Maine or like Vermont, even though they're like 40% of the voters." And then they forget to mention that most of those states in there have like 1 or 2 seats. I mean, that's why Bernie Sanders, that's why independents tend to do a little bit better in those areas, right? Approval rating declines most pronounced among his younger and Hispanic supporters. That's huge, right? Because that's what won him 24. That's a big deal. Has an independent commission too. How well? I'm like not super familiar with how Washington's districts are. How well do they do? Yeah. I think so too. And the desire for a ban on partisan gerrymandering has been around forever, but Republicans will never go for it because they need it right now. They actually need it to survive as the potential to have a majority in the House. Huh. But how are you going to get it? You know, I mean, like, $57, Kamala, 39 Trump. What do you mean? In these? There are 3 out of 8 districts that were Republican in advantage, or about 37.5% in Washington. Okay. And is that about right? Is that like, that's how your representation, like it's accurate? Oh, okay. Yeah. 57 Kamala, 39 Trump, 3 out of 8. That's about right. Yeah, that's right. Because she would appeal to centrists, and I feel like Washington Republicans are going to be a little more sane. No? Interstate government, kind of. That's the thing. Republicans, not in the electorate, yeah. Republican representatives, state representatives in like a blue state, like a solid blue state, I feel like are generally going to be more reasonable because they kind of have to be. Muffin, you want a piece of a chip? Muffin. Debbie?
Oh. Thanks. I'll give it right back.
Of course, love. Really more about issue state versus federal. Huh. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we can loop back around to this. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff I got up here. Well, actually, no. Let me finish looking at these stats first. Germany now say level of ethics in government has fallen under Trump. No shit. In unwinnable seats, more radical candidates will be ran by the minor party. Interesting. Jesus, dude. This is crazy. Lauren Culp. Let's look her up. Oh, it's a dude. Dude's name is Lauren. That's funny. Oops. When I switch between my non-HDR and HDR display, it gets grayed out a little bit. Okay. What does he want? Big MAGA, they're taking our freedoms guy over. Ugh. Bro, the COVID stuff was just like absolute brain candy for the retards. When did Republicans become the conspiracy nuts? Fucking Q. God, you remember QAnon? Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. I think you should only be able to name like a big important public building after a president, like once they've died.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Reichert. Okay. Aw. He looks like a sweet old man. Oh, yeah, because he was a cop. Oh, and he was in Congress. Moderate member of the Republican Party. 2017, he would retire from Congress. He was like, oh, fuck this, I'm out. Oh, he was? Yeah, but Lauren was probably a dirty cop. Oh, he played football. Northeast Washington. And he was a cop. Oh, he was in the Air Force. King County. Where's King County? Oh, no way. That's cool. He did like a fucking Silence of the Lambs type thing. Okay, cool. Gotcha. That's super interesting. My dude got his throat slit, and there's like not really a scar. What a beast. Voted for Democratic candidate for presidency. Interesting. You voted for this guy? Like when? What years? Oof. 24 when he ran, but he didn't run as a MAGA, right? Was she anti-MAGA? Okay. Um, well, he's got a couple things here I kind of don't like. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, I mean, he did decently well. All right. So how about this shit? Yeah, true. Bro, this is fucking crazy. He is out of his mind. Trump also called a law limiting the use of force without congressional authorization totally unconstitutional. Tell me you haven't read the Constitution without telling me you haven't read the Constitution. Trump told an event in Florida he considers it treasonous for people to say U.S. isn't winning the war. Bro, fuck off, CNN. I hate you. You used to have all your articles for free. Personal moral alignment that I mentioned before. Well, yeah, but like I would like to shift our Overton window away from MAGA. We need to narrow it again. Back to how it used to be. Internet politics is fucking everything up. True, neighborhood. Fair. Johnson considered it treasonous for people to say the United States is not winning the war with Iran, despite notifying Congress earlier that the hostilities have terminated. The U.S. will be withdrawing. Oh yeah, this is crazy. Oh, I have that pulled up. Mojaba Khomeini was published by Iranian state media on Friday, marking Iran's Labor Day and Teachers' Day. Khomeini, who has still not been seen in public more than 7 weeks after he was announced as the new supreme leader, praised Iran's workers and teachers in the message. He also used to rally support among Iranians. Israeli strikes against southern Lebanon have killed 11 people despite the ceasefire. 10 people, including a woman and a child, died in the town of Abuch, and 1 woman was killed in Ain Bal. War is peace, so the U.S. is winning the peace with Iran. Is this illegal? Well, it's not. He can't just declare it illegal. He's just calling it treasonous because he's a toddler who likes to throw tantrums when everybody doesn't bow down to him and tell him he's perfect at everything. Well, so this is crazy. Trump administration is pulling 5,000 troops from Germany after the German chancellor criticized the U.S. war with Iran because he was angry. This is the thing, is it's like we have a president who will like cause international incidents because he feels insulted. I mean, we just have an unstable, you know, 13-year-old girl going through puberty as our president, who also has dementia. The Antifa files? But today is May 1st. I don't see anything. Unless you're like memeing right now and I just didn't get it. Oh, yeah. I could see Trump throwing a little hissy fit over this. Hey, 5 months, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, hang on.
Mufasa, you know we finally here, right? Well, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday. Hey, hey, Let's go! Let's go! What? 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 Hey! 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 No, you did!
Yeah. It's be so pumped up every time. Trump could barely contain his frustration. Posting online, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Trump added that it was no surprise that Germany is doing so poorly, both economically and in other respects. Bro, he's such a pissy little child. He is such a pissy little children. Wait, what? What am I doing wrong? Oh, cool. The Mogler and Jennings interaction? No, but I had it actually up and ready for us to watch later, Varco. I'm not even kidding. I have it up in a tab right now. Let's get through some of this other stuff, and then we'll move on to like videos to watch. But yeah, it looks interesting. Okay. Germany's doing poorly. Mercel's reporters Wednesday that his personal relationship between the American president and me is, from my perspective, still good. Babe. You're welcome. Okay. Top policy officials of Pentagon wanted to realign U.S. forces away from Europe and the Middle East, potentially in favor of deploying them in the Indo-Pacific. During his first term, Trump announced he was going to pull out about 9,500 of the roughly 34,500 U.S. troops that were then stationed in Germany, but it did not happen. Democratic President Joe Biden formally stopped the planned withdrawal soon after taking office in 2021. Okay. Yeah. But we don't like NATO anymore. Italy and Spain, I mean, that's it, dude. Like, he really is just trying to end NATO. There's a new global email that is just called Classic, so you can't use that word anymore. Why? Is that one? Is that the smoking duck? Is that what that is? Anyway, that's crazy. Yeah. This is some shit. So he says hostilities have terminated, and that he's saying that ends the 60-day thing. So now if he wants to engage in hostilities again, he can do it again without congressional approval. And you know what? I bet this Supreme Court will let him do it too. Because they apparently don't believe in the balance of powers, even if it cucks them hardcore. Let's say I'm glad to see the classic format back. Your views are higher again. True. So under the War Powers Act, President must seek congressional approval for military hostilities that last longer than 60 days. By declaring the hostilities over, Trump is effectively resetting the clock, potentially making it more difficult for Congress to challenge his authority or constrain further action through a War Powers resolution. On April 27, 2026, however, a 2-week ceasefire. The ceasefire has been extended. There's been no exchange of fire between the United States forces and Iran since April 7, 2026, even though we still have a blockade. Hostilities that began on February 28th, 26 have terminated. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth previewed a version of the administration. Yeah, we were watching this earlier, right, Neighbory? The administration's argument before the Senate Armed Services Committee, suggesting the 60-day clock can pause or stop during a ceasefire, which is, in my opinion, really fucking retarded. Because if that were true, why even make the rule in the first place? Like, there would be no reason for there to be a rule. The rule itself makes it self-evident that that's not the case. This is really dumb. Arguing the ongoing naval blockade still constitutes hostilities. Republicans, however, appear more open to the administration's interpretation. No way! What a fucking surprise! I'm so surprised! Sounds like there's some wiggle room he provided there for himself. Senator Todd Young told reporters Thursday we'll take a look at whatever they send over. Zoom in. The Senate on Thursday blocked a war powers resolution aimed at forcing Trump to end or seek authorization for military action against Iran. Measure failed. What? Seems in voting with the Democrats. We're missing 3 votes. Trump has made clear that he remains open to future military actions that he considers those to be separate engagements for the purposes of the War Powers Act. The Department of War continues to update its force posture in the area of responsibility in select countries as necessary and appropriate to address Iranian and Iranian proxy forces threats and to protect the United States and its allies and partners. Fine. That's fine. These changes are more fully outlined in the classified attachment to this letter. Fine. Whatever. I just think the war powers stuff is sneaky. Nope. He won't. He won't. And it's going to get challenged, but again, here's the thing. They're going to say, oh, it was on pause. So even if it's not allowed, he's just going to do it anyway. And what? There's no punishment, right? Because the Supreme Court already ruled you can't punish them for it. And you just do whatever they want. More tariffs! Yay! Yep. Yep. He's like, I'm the boss. I shouldn't have to ask for anything, which is why he never should have been president in the first place. You don't put somebody who is constantly and always surrounded by yes men in charge of a country. That's not how a country works, unless you want a monarchy or a dictatorship. And that's not this country. But you know, MAGAs, a lot of MAGAs, that is what they want. They want a fucking dictator. They want an authoritarian. I am pleased to announce that next week I will be increasing tariffs charged to the European Union for cars and trucks. Trump said on Friday, in targeting the automotive sector, Trump has chosen a particularly sensitive target. Car manufacturing makes up a significant portion of Europe's economy. Talks about how to move forward on the EU-US deal agreed last July had stalled over a dispute about steel and aluminum. Major European economies such as Germany and France had rejected U.S. plans to adjust tariffs on a wide range of goods. Trade deal agreed between the EU and the U.S. at Trump's Turnberry golf course in Scotland set levies on most European goods at 15%. I'm surprised the Scots haven't raided this fucking golf course and burnt it to the ground. Well, it's a golf course. It's already on the ground. We just haven't burnt, you know, the grass. It was a reprieve for the EU from the 30% tariffs Trump had threatened to impose as part of his Liberation Day wave of tariffs that April. In exchange, Europe had agreed to invest in the U.S. and make changes on the continent expected to boost U.S. exports. As tensions mounted over President Trump's threats to annex Greenland, it's so crazy. Self-governing Danish territory, the European Parliament in January suspended the approval of the deal. It's almost like your actions have consequences. It later added a clause stating the agreement can be suspended if the Trump administration is deemed to have undermined the objectives of the deal, discriminated against EU economic operators, threatened member states' territorial integrity, foreign and defense policies, or engaged in economic coercion. It was approved by the European Parliament in March following the dispute, and I bet Trump shit his depends as soon as he heard. Classic Orange Man indeed. Asked how the EU had failed to adhere to the terms of its deal with the U.S., Trump did not elaborate. He told reporters on Friday, "We have a trade deal with the European Union. They were not adhering to it, so I raised the tariffs on cars and trucks." Announcing the tariff hikes, Trump urged European car makers to shift production to the U.S. And watch, the European car makers are probably sitting there like, okay, then they'll pay more for our cars, which are already like European cars are mostly luxury cars, which means the people who can afford them can generally pay that extra tariff if they need to. It's fully understood and agreed that if they produce cars and trucks in the USA plants, there will be no tariff. That's not even actually fucking true, bro. Land Rover, Mercedes, BMW, right? Like, those are all the ones I can think of. Ferrari, Fiat. No, wait. Land Rover is British, isn't it? I'm sure they do. But it doesn't matter because we don't get all the parts from here. So if they produce their cars and trucks in USA plants, they're still going to have to order parts from overseas. We don't have the infrastructure ready for that. Or at the very least, raw materials that we don't have the infrastructure for. Originally British, but Indian now. Interesting. Forgot the Toyotas. So this is why these blanket tariffs are the dumbest fucking thing. Because no matter what, you're going to incur tariff price hikes. It's just the way this was done. All the German cars are EU, yeah. The way this was done, there's literally no way around it. He said billions of dollars are being invested in car and truck plants across the country. Figures he described as a record in the history of car and truck manufacturing. Trump's Liberation Day tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act have since been ruled illegal by the Supreme Court, with firms that paid up now seeking refunds after a Supreme Court decision. Yeah, are they ever going to, like, I know they launched the refund thing, but, like, how much of that is actually going to get sent back? It's a question. It's a good question. But the tariffs affecting cars fall under a different legal process and are not impacted by the Supreme Court ruling. Well, surely, or otherwise he wouldn't have done it, right? Insanity. Gerrymandering points in one direction only. Come 2028, Democrats have to declare a take no prisoners redistricting war on the GOP. I know. This is dumb. This was so dumb. It seems like Democrats are all cool with doing it now. They don't care. They don't feel uncomfortable. They feel completely justified. On the right side, this should mean less blinker-related traffic accidents. Yes, neighbor Rudy! Yes! BMW drivers never use their fucking indicator. It's like none of them have them installed. With Donald Trump's active encouragement, Republicans are already seizing on the ruling, which essentially dismantled protections against racial gerrymandering. See, that's the thing. It dismantled protections against racial gerrymandering. To threaten to redraw maps in the South to eliminate numerous congressional seats with black representatives. While it's largely too late to do so this cycle, Republicans will likely launch mid-decade redistricting in many southern states heading into 2028, eliminating as many as 19 more Democratic seats in hopes of locking in a near-permanent GOP majority. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to be 19. I've seen like 12 to 13 being like the realistic limit of what they can do. In substantive, in legal terms, this outcome is awful. This in purely political sense is this Armageddon for the Democrats, not necessarily the reason Democrats can move to redraw maps in time for the 28 elections to states where they control the legislatures. Like, imagine if California decided to just like get rid of any Republican seats. If New York did the same thing. Yeah, the Florida gerrymander could backfire too. Especially with the way votes are swinging right now. points to one big takeaway from the court ruling: state legislative races, which already attract too little attention, just got a lot more important. Many races underway now will help determine the party's long-term prospects in the scorched earth conflict that's about to unfold. Spread them thin. Yep. According to a new analysis by Fair Fight Action, a voting rights group, Democrats could redraw anywhere from 10 to 22 additional congressional seats for the party in time for the 28 elections if they push hard with redistricting in 7 blue and swing states. The analysis, which is circulating among Democratic leadership aides and outside groups, was obtained by TNR, concludes that being aggressive could theoretically offset Republican gains even in a maximalist GOP redistricting scenario. Democrats have a clear path. See, that's the thing, is like, it doesn't matter how you shake it. If you look at it population-wise, Democrats are in a stronger position if they throw caution to the wind with gerrymandering. If they don't give a shit and gerrymander as hard as Republicans have over the last 20 years and as hard as they're about to, Democrats have the numbers. And, like, it's not going to go the way the GOP wants it to. Democrats have a clear path to neutralize this GOP power grab if they want to take it. Max Flugrath, Senior Communications Director of Fair Fight Action, told me, "This is the break glass in case of emergency moment for American democracy. The range of potential Democratic gains is so broad because so much depends on which party controls key state legislatures after the fall elections. Strikingly, even if Democrats flip 0 chambers, they can redraw up to 10 additional congressional districts for the party. The analysis finds by maximizing gerrymanders in New York, Colorado, Oregon, and Maryland, where Democrats control governorships and state legislatures. But even more strikingly, Democrats could redraw as many as 22 additional congressional districts for the party overall if they flip legislative chambers in other states and redraw aggressively in them, the analysis finds." I don't know if this is... Yeah, I actually got that right here. Take Wisconsin, where the governor is a Democrat and Republicans control the state legislature. Democrats think they have a good shot at flipping both legislative houses, due in part to dramatic Democratic overperformances in recent special elections. Notably, Republicans control 6 congressional seats in Wisconsin, while Democrats control 2. But the state is evenly divided. Jeez. Some of these state houses are fucking teensy. With Democrats winning recent statewide elections there. Ironically, precisely because Wisconsin has long been heavily gerrymandered for the GOP. This is what I'm fucking talking about. Democrats can now redraw 3 additional House districts for themselves. The analysis finds by unpacking current urban districts and linking up Democratic voters in the North. Then there's Minnesota, where Democrats control the governorship and state senate. State House is tied, but Democrats are bullish on flipping at least 1 seat, which would mean a trifecta. While the state constitution may bar an immediate redistricting, that could theoretically be amended in time for Democrats to redistrict for the 28 or 2030 elections. Another possibility is Pennsylvania. This would require flipping 1 legislative chamber, the Senate, and redrawing aggressively by concentrating Republicans in central rural districts and spreading around urban Democratic voters more. The Fair Fight Action analysis finds. It argues that 3 congressional seats are gettable in Wisconsin, 3 in Minnesota, and up to 6 in Pennsylvania. 22 House seats across 7 states may sound like a heavy lift, Flugrath told me, but our analysis shows it's well within reach if blue state governors and legislatures squeeze every potential seat out of the maps. Add that to the likely flips, generally, historically, the incumbent party loses 20 plus seats in the midterms, but, we could potentially be looking at a really, really rough midterms for Republicans because of how unpopular they are. This blueprint attempts to quantify the very outer range of what's possible. Many challenges loom, such as that of protecting minority voting while spreading votes around to maximal benefit. This analysis assumes that any responsive maps protect, not weaken, the voting power of black and brown communities, memo says, urging Democrats to avoid splitting up voters of color or diluting their representation. What's more, much will be decided by how hard Democrats push, but they are gearing up House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told Politico that Democrats will seek gerrymanders at minimum in New York, Colorado, Maryland, and Illinois. Flipping more legislatures this cycle is also essential, however. The only path to ensure communities of color aren't silenced into perpetuity and Democrats have a shot at a durable U.S. House majority is to win more state houses, Heather Williams, president of the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee, told me. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment. Meanwhile, contests like the Georgia gubernatorial race have suddenly taken on new importance. Yeah, Georgia's looking really interesting. Oh, are you even? Yeah. Gonna put up a link and we'll take a look at that in a second. Republicans control the state legislature there, and they're already threatening a gerrymander next year. But a Democratic governor could thwart it. As governor, I will veto any map that dilutes the voices of Black and Latino voters. Keisha Lance Bottoms, a leading Democratic candidate in this state, told me in a statement. To be clear, none of this should have to happen. Though Democrats have gerrymandered themselves over the years, Republicans went full throttle and never looked back after capturing many state legislators in their 2010 midterm rout. You're right, 2010. That first midterm after we got a black president. Democrats have attempted for years to model any alternative path with independent redistricting commissions in many states. Hell yeah. Good. Good for him. Democratic position then has long been that neither side. Democrats have attempted for years to model an alternative path with independent redistricting commissions in many states, and with federal legislation ending gerrymandering for both sides. Yeah, that's the thing. If Republicans aren't doing independent redistricting, then you setting up independent redistricting is literally smashing yourself in the nuts over and over again. And like the dumbest fucking sniffing your own farts kind of fucking shit you could possibly do. Push for federal legislation, but don't kneecap your own fucking party like a bunch of retards. The Democratic position then has long been that neither side should gerrymander, disrespects the opposition's voters, and allows lawmakers to insulate themselves from accountability. But if Republicans insist on it, Democrats have no choice but to do the same. The vain hope of many good government liberals had been that charting a path towards mutual de-escalation just might entice Republicans to join them. No, that's not how Republicans work. But with Republicans openly threatening to maximize their own gerrymanders after the court ruling, such hopes of mutual forbearance are now plainly dead. Yet, if Democrats have a good cycle on the state legislative level, there will be real opportunities to mitigate the GOP advantage. We don't know how willingly Democrats will undertake all this, but they will undoubtedly come under intense pressure to do so. If Republicans make good on their threats, the choice for Democrats will be stark. Push forward or perish. Exactly. Republicans don't like it. Too fucking bad. This is the world they wanted, and it is they who are now inflicting it upon us. You're goddamn right, Greg. You're fucking right. And then ban it. Force your majorities down their throat and then fucking ban partisan redistricting once and for all. So yeah, this is good. Hell yeah. Hey ye. And if he loses, even better. Oh, Tennessee's going to be erasing a Democrat seat. Canceling the primaries days before early voting was scheduled to start. Bro, you're not supposed to do that, right? Like, it's too close. For fuck's sake, man. These are all going to get challenged because of how close they are to the election. All right. Federal appeals court has restricted access to one of the most common means of abortion in the U.S. by blocking the mailing of mifepristone. Did I say that right? A panel of New Orleans-based Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is requiring that the abortion pill be distributed only in person at clinics. Since the Supreme Court's 2022 ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade and allowed enforcement of abortion bans, prescriptions by mail has become a major way that abortions are provided, including in states where bans are in place. The decision sets up a likely appeal to the Supreme Court. Yeah, it has to be, right? Because they struck down nationwide injunctions. Mifepristone. Or mifepristone. A federal appeals court has restricted access to one of... Okay. Federal appeals court... Second one, okay. A federal appeals court has restricted access to one of the most common means of abortion in the U.S. by blocking mailing of prescriptions of mifepristone. A panel of the New Orleans... This is literally the same fucking... Open. Okay. Dumb. Every abortion facilitated by FDA's action cancels Louisiana's ban on medical abortions and undermines its policy that every unborn child in your human being from moment of conception and is therefore a legal person, the ruling states. God damn, dude. That is such a backwards way of looking at things. Keep your religious points of view out of the law. Judges have long deferred to the Food and Drug Administration's judgments on the safety and appropriate regulations of drugs. Yeah, because the federal government has priority. FDA officials under President Donald Trump have repeatedly stated the agency is conducting a new review of mifepristone's safety at the direction of the president. Judges noted in their ruling that FDA could not say when that review might be complete and admitted it was still collecting data. Judges noted in a court filing, Louisiana's Attorney General and a woman who said she was coerced into taking abortion pills requested that FDA rules be rolled back when the pills were allowed to be prescribed and dispensed only in person. Are you fucking serious? I thought Republicans were all about personal responsibility. A Louisiana-based federal judge last month ruled that those allowances undermine the state's abortion ban. Yeah, because it's a state abortion ban, and those are federal rules. But stop short of undoing the regulations immediately. Since the Supreme Court's 2022 ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade and allowed enforcement of abortion bans, prescriptions by mail have become a major way that abortions are provided, including in states where bans are in place. This is going to affect patients' access to abortion and miscarriage care in every state in the nation, said Julia Kay, an ACLU lawyer. When telemedicine is restricted, rural communities, people with low incomes, people with disabilities, survivors of intimate partner violence, communities of color suffer the most. Mifepristone was approved in 2000 as a safe and effective way to end early pregnancies. It is typically used in combination with a second drug, misoprostol. Miso, like the soup. Because of rare cases of excessive bleeding, the FDA initially imposed strict limits on who could prescribe and distribute the pill. Only specially certified physicians, and only after an in-person appointment where the person would receive the pill. Both these requirements were dropped during the COVID-19 years. At the time, FDA officials under President Joe Biden said that after more than 20 years of monitoring mifepristone use, reviewing dozens of studies involving thousands of women, it was clear that women could safely use the pill without direct supervision. Friday's ruling sets up a likely appeal to the Supreme Court. Conservative majority High Court overturned abortion as a nationwide right in 2022, but unanimously preserved access to mifepristone 2 years later. That 2024 decision sidestepped the core issues, however, by ruling that the anti-abortion doctors behind the case didn't have a legal standing to sue. Oh. That's sad. Oh, and Thousand Oaks. That's a sad one. No way. He wrote the death of Gwen Stacy. Created Punisher. Yep. I love it so much when people don't realize that they're fucking shitting on themselves by doing stuff like this. Well, that's sad. Alright. Let's watch this Adam Mockler thing that Barcode was talking about.
That Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going your way.
Name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Whoa, honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's
Everybody,
in my face.
everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down.
What a pussy! What a pussy! Oh my god, dude! He can't handle it. He can't fucking handle it.
Remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going your way.
Name one political concession.
Name
one political concession.
Whoa,
honestly,
guys,
I'm not going to have this guy's
everybody,
in my face.
everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down. Okay. We're having a debate. You can respond to the point.
Bro, ratioed. What a fucking loser. This guy's such a... Oh my god. Some of these comments, dude. Look at all the ratioing happening in the comments. Amazing. Oh, grow up. Oh, this is amazing. Look at how mad they all are. Oh, that's awesome.
That he's
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
We had a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if I had to defend war too. I would be mad if I had to defend war.
Scott, you can respond.
We have a
and
very
we'll
simple.
If you can't take the heat, then get the hell out of the kitchen. I'm sorry, but I just got off of CNN about an hour ago, and I am so sick of people who constantly dish it out but cannot take it. This perfectly encapsulates the entire Republican Party, because during my CNN hit, Scott Jennings was taking snide personal jabs at me. And listen, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I love to debate. I love to go on these debate shows, have a great exchange of ideas. I mean, I started off by going to Trump rallies and having respectful conversations with his supporters. So it's amazing that we've gone this far, and this is genuinely one of my favorite shows to go on. But Scott Jennings has become increasingly flustered over the past few months since the start of this Iran war, and it came to a little bit of a climax tonight. I am never somebody to talk about things like this in this manner, but I'm sorry, if you're going to dish it out to every single person that goes on CNN, if you are going to constantly try to corner people, constantly try to pick on mainly women, like I watch the show a decent amount, and when I check it out, he mainly finds women on the panel that he can kind of just like talk over and try to trap in a corner. But the moment that I reciprocate that exact type of energy, he snaps on me. He snaps on me, literally. There's a moment where he like tries to be like, Mom, this is a child. This is a child who is trying to do political punditry, which is kind of ironic because I think he views me as a child at the same time. I mean, I see the way he looks at me. He views me as a child engaging in politics, but the stature of this man is so incredibly weak. I've been on this show with him for, I don't know, 6 months now, a few different times, right? And ever since the Iran war started, it has been getting a little bit more intense, I feel like. The 4 to 6 week timeline that Donald Trump set out has been blown past. And it might genuinely take a psychological toll on somebody who's continually on air, trying to run defense for this administration, continually on air saying, we're very close. I mean, just using the same talking points over and over. We blew past the 4 to 6 week timeline. I've heard him say for weeks and weeks, Scott Jennings on air, that we're this close. We're very, very close to ending this war, and we're going to get what we want. But we're not getting closer. Donald Trump is continually spiraling his
They believe every word that comes out of his lying fucking mouth
down the drain, and people like that have to defend it on live television. So one more time, if you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. If you're going to go on a debate show, perhaps the largest debate show in America, and then you can't debate back, so you have to snap when my finger wasn't even in his face. Even if it was, there's a respectful way to be like, hey dude, can we not do that right now? Can you just keep your body language? And I would have totally done it. I'm a rational person.
Dude, I totally wish he had just been like, as soon as he said that, I wish Adam had just been like, are you mad? Why are you so mad, bro? I thought you were right about everything. Why are you so mad right now? You shouldn't be so mad. If you're so sure, why are you so mad?
Person, but no,
I would have literally tried to bait him into fucking punching if it were me.
His shit. Obviously something deeper was boiling in him. That wasn't just me that made him snap. There was something that was bothering him, something that has been building up in him, and I genuinely think it's the fact that every single time I go on air, he has to use the same lines about we've destroyed their military, we've destroyed their air force. He runs the same 3 lines, and every single time I'm able to debunk it. Hey, if we've won this war so decisively like you claim, then how come the strait is still closed? How come we can't even get them to Pakistan? He can't even answer. He's not even trying to answer anymore, so he smacked at me. I didn't want to go on this rant. I actually wasn't going to say much, but I think that was worth getting out there, because that was deeper than anything that happened on air. That was a breakdown of MAGA as a movement. So that being said, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the Mockler Media feed. We're going to do more and more debates in different venues, and we're building our own debate show. So watch until the end. Love you all. Peace out.
It seems like there's a lot of wishful thinking going on here inside the administration about how popular the war is, how Americans see the war. I've looked at poll questions that ask this in all kinds of different ways, right? I read you several of them. Here's another one. In the long run, does military action in Iran make America safer, less safe, or have not much impact? Only 27% say it makes us safer. So, you know, it's either the American people are smart enough to know what they think about this war, or they're not.
Dude, everyone at this table is sitting like this. I feel like it would be a power move if you were like coming into this CNN panel for the first time to like fucking sit like this. Like let your balls hang out. Spread your legs, be like, what's up?
Well, you know, I think the Secretary Hickseth did a pretty good job. He was combative. He was firm. You know, he was kind of macho. He was also, I think, weak on strategy overall. The polls that you cite, Abby, reflect the fact that they have no end game. And I think I am distressed for the administration for that reason. I don't think they know how this is going to end. I don't think they know how they want it to end. I believe that you have a chaos at the top right now.
It's like they just went in. It's like they went into like a final exam without studying and just thought everything was going to be perfect and it was going to be super easy and everything was going to go exactly the way they wanted it to. And then they got fucking smacked in the face with reality that you actually have to prepare and make sure that you're actually handling strategy correctly.
And everyone is holding their breath. I hope that the president doesn't, in a moment of peak, decide to take out the infrastructure in Iran just because he's angry and frustrated that the thing has dragged on so long. I hope he does not do that because I worry that nobody at this table and nobody in this country knows where the hell this thing's going.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth wasn't acting macho. He was playing a macho person on TV. He is not actually macho. We are dealing with a war that is failing on a daily basis as Donald Trump has taken his
machismo?
Because he was performing. It was a performance for
He's
Donald
the expert.
Trump.
Didn't you know?
I was wondering.
Performance for Donald Trump.
You're out there pumping up.
Donald Trump is very impressive. He's taken his two largest campaign promises, no new wars and lower prices, ending inflation, and he's messed both of them up. He started a new war that spiked inflation, and now this war is actively failing. An interesting statistic is that Americans have spent collectively $23 billion extra dollars on the gas pump, and that's money that could have gone towards daycare, towards childcare. We'll sit here and you'll laugh at Americans spending money, but the reality is we are failing this war. The purpose of a war is to extract political concessions from the enemy. Can you name a single political concession we've gotten from them? Anything at all?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Any political concession? Because you can't name one.
So here's what we're doing.
No political concessions.
When you get up at past your bedtime, you get hyper. Here's the deal.
All right.
Bro, you're being a snide motherfucker this whole time, and the second he presses you on something, doesn't put his hand in your face, you snap like a little baby? Get the fuck out of here.
That's not
have a clear issue
You're
here.
shaking, bro.
We
Your
have a
hand's
clear issue here. No
He's so
nuclear
mad.
weapons
He's
for the
so
largest
mad.
state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Period. Full stop. The president believes, and he may be right. I spoke to a retired.
What Scott Jennings said? Oh, yeah. I mean, it was funny. But, like, he's big mad. And he is. He's just saying the same thing over again. You can't handle it.
Rear Admiral today, Mark Montgomery,
You
who's
can
at the
see
Foundation
he's
for Defense
fucking
of Democracies.
thieving.
They think
He's
the
molded.
blockade is actually more effective than the military campaign. And a little patience on the blockade here, where we cripple the Iranian economy, where we kill their currency, which is happening as we speak, where we put pressure on
Hey,
China because
they
they
didn't
need
used to, but
to get
this
their
is
oil
Trump's
flowing
America,
again.
Marco.
A little bit of patience right here, not bombs, but patience on a naval blockade could get the outcome you want, which is no nuclear weapons for the largest state sponsor of terror in
You've been
the
saying
world.
this for 8 weeks, and we are now past the 4 to 6 week deadline. Where is the enriched uranium right now?
It's under rubble.
Where is it right now? In the United States or Iran? Iran still
It's
has the
under
enriched
rubble.
uranium. They still have the scientists scattered across their country, and they have all of the blueprints in the cloud. You can sit there and act confused, but you can't name a single political concession
It's
that
not
we've
over
gotten
yet.
from Iran.
It's not over yet.
Okay, but also on that fact, why are we talking about the strategy of this? This isn't a legal war. This is terrorism. We are turning our military into pirates. We are seizing civilian vessels. Additionally,
Shut the fuck up. I don't, but what she just said was fucking stupid. I don't want you on my side, girl. You sound dumb.
Sanctioned Iranian vessels that
Terrorism? Bro. You sound like a fucking cucked ass Hassan watcher.
have gone through a DOJ process.
we are.
You
this
can call it
just
piracy
happened
and like
last week.
if words don't have any meaning, but like we have sanctions against these vessels and
What's her deal?
We are
the
just
EU has
making
sanctions against these vessels. In
random
some cases,
stuff
the
up.
UN has sanctions
But one
against
of
these
the
vessels.
most egregious aspects of this is the white Christian nationalist twist that Pete Hegseth has added onto this, saying that this conflict that we started.
I mean, yes, he has a white Christian nationalist twist, but I suspect that you look for that everywhere. I don't trust you, dude. You sound like a leftist. Oh, okay. Wait. What did she say about Taiwan?
That we have sacrificed our own service members for is ordained by God, is bombing a school full of schoolgirls ordained by God.
Bro, I agree that was a huge fuck up. But it's not like they did it on purpose. Like, wait, what?
It's not just about Kimmel. Last night, we saw in Texas courts that the case for Alex Jones and the Sandy Hook families, which has been going on for more than 8 years, these families have been tortured by this man for over a decade. He somehow found a legal loophole made just for him. Even lawyers don't totally understand what's happening here. And if you're watching this and you're
I thought you were about to tell me she was going to be like, we need to encourage Taiwan to go back to China because China is benevolent and they care about their citizens, and Red Book is the best thing ever.
Texas, you should call your representative and ask what the hell is happening with that deal. This goes to speech all across the spectrum, except for the people that align with the most extreme parts of the right.
Do you have a vested interest in that case?
Sorry?
Do you have a vested interest in the
Yeah,
outcome
my
of it?
partner owns the Onion, but also, do you
Wait,
not want
what?
the Sandy Hook families to get their
No,
fair share?
I do. I think
because
Alex
right now,
Jones
this
should
is
be
the
off the air.
only
I just
deal.
was saying, like, there are other externalities there when it comes to that. So I like disclosure. I like honesty.
Yes,
and I think the Sandy Hook
Sure.
families deserve every honesty.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's not just about Kimmel. Last night,
Oh my God.
is our prices going up and us not being able to afford an ambulance, we call an Uber instead? Is that ordained by God?
In 1983, I was in Beirut when the Marine Corps barracks was blown up by a suicide bomber sponsored by the Iranians.
It's not 1983,
230
though.
Marines.
It's the same regime, you freaking idiot. I hate this. I don't like this. Adam, get her to be quiet. She's not helping us right now. Okay. Oh, that sound, Neighboruni, that does sound kind of like the bullshit answer a leftist gives when they don't want to be specific about supporting Ukraine and Taiwan. But at least she said that.
Died.
That's awful. That's
part of-
terrible. But that is not.
They,
It's
they
not
also took out
1983.
a couple of dozen at the U.S. Embassy.
Geraldo, we
downtown
murdered an
Beirut.
entire
She was
school
saying-
of children.
You can't make
Two of them.
That's
you
good.
can't make them suddenly a victim.
Okay, the real question is, what have we
I
gotten
think
for
I actually
this
think
war?
the school children are victims. I think
Oh,
the
the
civilians
school
that are
children are,
dead
but
are
so are the
victims.
Yeah,
Marines.
I do, but
Yes.
hold on. I do think, look, just to be clear, I mean, obviously, Marines being
Did she just pull a Jim from The Office? Did y'all peep that?
I actually think the school children are victims. I think
Oh,
the
the
civilians
school
that
children
are
are,
that are dead
but
are
so are
victims.
the
yeah,
Marines.
I do, but
Yes.
hold on. I do think, look, just to be clear,
She did.
I mean, obviously, Marines being killed is terrible. School children being killed is terrible. But there's a big difference between Iran willfully bombing, U.S. military targets and the United States bombing a school and then not acknowledging it, which is its own separate problem. But the school children are civilians. They're
Right?
civilians point blank.
course.
They should never be targeted.
Right? Like they're still investigating, right? What the fuck?
That's a good question.
Like what the fuck?
Terrible.
We are, according to some people, already at the 60-day mark of this war, and technically they're supposed to come to Congress on it. Pete Hegseth was questioned about this today. Listen to this.
How did it go?
The War Powers Resolution specifies that a war initiated by a president without congressional approval must be concluded within 60 days.
Ultimately, I would defer to the White House and White House counsel on that. However, we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. So you're not in. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that.
Thank you.
I mean, that was essentially how the Obama administration interpreted the statute.
And
They would
Republicans disagreed with it at the time.
100%. I think it would be cleaner.
So just to be clear,
It'd be a good act of constitutional hygiene, and it's not you need to conclude within 60 days. You need to conclude or have authorization from Congress within 60 days.
Exactly. So
Now-
they could come to Congress and get authorization. Why not?
Or they could challenge the statute, which, as somebody who has either sponsored legislation to repeal or reform every extant authorization for the use of military force and to reform war powers more broadly, I also have to confess the War Powers Act of 1974, the constitutional underpinnings of that are shaky. It may not hold up. if the
Maybe
Supreme Court
so,
does.
but it's
the
the law of the land, and
reality
it has not been
Congress
challenged.
has the power of the purse. And this is the reality, is that if Congress continues to authorize the Department of War, if they continue to pass the National Defense Appropriations Act, they continue to do that. That will
They're not
be
going to shoot
tacit
down the
consent.
Defense Act on the basis of a war that Donald
But
Trump
also,
is starting.
but also,
Why would he shoot down all of our
the
defense?
National Defense Act.
That's different than
The National Defense
Defense.
Act comes up once a year. I think it's probably this year. It's usually toward the end of the year.
They also are requesting a supplemental before.
They're requesting a supplemental, but they haven't actually done that fully yet. And I do think it raises the question, do they just get to pause this thing whenever they feel like it, even though there is an active blockade? And a blockade involves the U.S. military threatening with force that if
Considered an
any
act of war.
Yeah, it is considered an act of war. So how does that not count?
I think that interpretation, however, is subject to reasonable acceptance interpretation. If indeed there is a ceasefire, don't you want to encourage the ceasefire? Don't you want to encourage this peace?
Yeah, but there's also a naval blockade, which is by definition not a ceasefire.
But also,
we're still in war.
we're talking legalities when it comes to war powers and all this. This is bird law, right? It is not governed by reason.
Wait, did he just say? Did he just say bird law?
Right? It is not. We're talking legalities when it comes to war powers and all this. This is bird law, right?
Just casually drops a "It's Always Sunny" reference in the middle of a fucking CNN panel. That was kind of based.
It is not governed by reason. You can't get. No, it's always sunny.
What do you mean?
Fans here. Come on.
Can I just take it back?
Wait. What do you mean by bird law? Just
I mean that we try to apply like normal rhetoric, normal logic, normal dictionary definitions.
As we do in a democracy. Like we're not Iran. We don't get to just like
And we're
ignore
also
the law.
Also very telling how few people on this panel got that joke. I'm very disappointed.
International legal repercussions
right?
here.
If we're talking about that, what international legal repercussions?
This is a war of aggression.
I think it says a lot about you if you don't know what bird law is.
What is international law? Who's enforcing international law?
Who is the aggressor here?
Us. We are the aggressor.
Against
we launched
Iran?
this war. Yes. Just
Okay.
because
Did
Iran
all
exists.
Did all of U.S. history exist before the last 8 weeks to you? Or
Just because Iran exists? That's stupid. That's not true.
just
It started on February 28th.
Listen, we all know.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47
We
years.
all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat? Is that
Homie,
what you
I
have?
debated you on
Okay.
TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not
Can you
going your
name
way?
one political
Get your fucking
concession.
hand out of my
Name one
face
political
first.
concession.
whoa, guys.
Honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's hand
Everybody,
in my face.
everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down. Okay. We're having a debate. You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
I just had a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if I had to defend war too. I would be mad if I had to defend war.
Scott, you can respond.
We have
and
a
then we'll
very
move
simple. We have a very simple goal: to keep terrorists and a terrorist regime from having a nuclear weapon that can threaten the United States, our interests in the region, our allies in Europe.
Yeah, how's that going, Scott? That's the point. That's what he's saying. He's saying, give us a single concession that they got. We understand. That's the fucking goal. You said it 3 million times. That's not what he's asking. This is so fucking frustrating. This is the response that everyone's giving because they know they don't have an answer for that.
Anybody else
So
in
you
the
can't
world.
answer the question.
That is,
Thank
that
you.
is
I
our
would get
goal.
mad too.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. Next for us, the president suggests ABC must fire Jimmy Kimmel soon or else. This, as his FCC chief speaks out for the first time since this extraordinary move. Plus, if the lights weren't blinking red already, the U.S. debt has now surpassed.
Yeah. This is crazy. Right? They were going to balance the budget, right? Elon was going to say, oh, it's done? Oh, it's done. Oh, shit. Wait. What's the website? What's the website say? It's not on the website. Honestly, it won't really be missed. There are other low-cost options. I've flown them before. Yup. Yup. That's it. RIP Spirit Airlines.
So exciting.
Did you say so exciting?
No, not to you. Sorry.
Oh. Were they really that bad, or was it just a meme? They were really bad for a long time. They got a little better towards the end, I think. But for a long time, it was just really fucking bad. They used to have a tray that, I shit you not, was this big. Okay, what's going on here? What do you got?
Last night, I decided I would spend my free time watching this entire 2-hour-long Tucker Carlson podcast to sort of see what's going on in the Tuckersville. And some of it's fascinating. Marjorie Taylor Greene came on as a guest for part of it, and she revealed what she believes to be Trump's secret or not so secret intention as it pertains to the end of his term. Is he going to want to leave at the end of his term? Okay, as constitutionally mandated. And she makes that public based on a lot of experience with Trump very personally. So we'll look at that. That's fascinating, right? Marjorie Greene leaks Trump's secret type of vibe. Then we'll get to other clips from the Same Cup podcast. And I want to remind you that we should absolutely bolster the message of a Tucker, of a Marjorie, whenever it is aligning with a correct principle, but not allow that activity, that participation in going, look, wow, even they're saying this, to make us forget how fundamentally dishonest some of these people are. So both can be true. Tucker's against us being in the Iran war. Hey, look, even Tucker's against it. Good. And Tucker's a fundamentally dishonest person still. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you in a second. But first, here's Marjorie saying this.
Baby boomers. And I really attack the baby boomers a lot because I am angry about many of the things their generation has supported and done. I'm fully disgusted at baby boomers that hold on to power in Congress and in the Senate and many elected positions. Even our current president falls in that category. He'll probably never want to leave the White House, and I'm sure me saying that will make headlines. However, I think those baby boomers are the most dangerous, and they're completely responsible for our nearly $40 trillion in debt.
So the headline making thing she says there is that a former very
A baby seal pushed me yesterday.
Un bébé phoque m'a poussé hier. Un bébé.
They can fuck off. Who cares?
a close ally of Trump's believes he's not going to want to leave office when the end of his term comes. Bombshell. Now, I say that as a little bit as a joke because we're like, yeah, you remember last time whenever he was supposed to leave and he did all that crazy stuff and tried to do a coup attempt? But this time's different because at least you would think last time he wanted to do that because he could have had a second term if he had won the election. So he tried to lie that he won the election to get it, and then fought using illegal activities to try to stay in office. This time, despite what anyone says, Bannon or anyone else, everyone knows constitutionally you can't have a third term. They try to find loopholes and pretend like they know that. And so given that they don't really care about the Constitution in many ways, should we be afraid, is the question I'm asking to all of you, should we be afraid that Trump literally tries to stay in office past January of 2029? Because sometimes he talks about it and you go, I think even he's going to be like, okay, I'll be done with this after all the damage that he did. And then he'll just pretend like he did a great job. But would he actually try to, and what mechanism would he try to use to do that? I don't know. My guess, to give you some
Cocks taste good.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Hey. Oh, thanks, Cinderella. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that from the last time we did that.
optimism is that he actually is going to go, all right, I'm done, and I was the perfect president, woohoo, and leave office.
What you up to, Cinderella?
But would he, ideologically? Does he have some constitutional principle against trying to illegally stay in office? No, of course not. So it should always be a fear in the back of our mind, but I don't think it's a rising to the fever pitch panic. That
I will bet all my money that you are not playing Arc Raiders.
2020 did, because he believed he literally could illegal his way into staying in office. And then you have this clip from the same interview. Quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. It's completely free and it's the simplest way to support the work that we do. Right below the video, click that subscribe button, and then also whatever you're thinking or some random statement, drop it in the comments. That helps algorithmically, and click the like button. Back to the video.
President again in 2024. And he was, I was just like, this guy's like literally one of the worst. Well, I would say he's the worst, but Randy Fine is really the worst. But Mike Lawler was unbelievably, I thought he was a Democrat. I was like, he's literally a Democrat. He's so against all the things that Republican voters care about. And he clearly hates Donald Trump. Well, I saw this unbelievable change in him. And of course, it happened after Trump won his primary in 2024. All of a sudden, Mike Lawler, I started joking. I started calling him MAGA Mike Lawler, because he was all of a sudden like becoming Trump's biggest supporter. And he was all excited. He got a MAGA hat signed by Donald Trump, came straight up to me to show it to me. And I'll never forget the day that he had gone and met with the president at the White House. Of course, I was not invited. Only knew all the Republicans that hated the president before. Let me tell you, Tucker, it all changed. When Trump went in the White House, literally in a matter of months, those of us that fought for him when no one else would, who were basically like the inner circle, we all of a sudden got kicked out. And it was the Republicans like Mike Lawler and all these other guys that were the ones being constantly ushered into the White House for meetings and all kinds of things.
So the realization she's trying to articulate there, because the question that Tucker asked was there a change in Trump? He went from our warrior to all of a sudden he wants to go to war with Iran, and the neocons are his best friends, even if they were against him before. And Marjorie's saying, yes, there was a change.
Genetically modify avocados to stay in the Goldilocks ripe zone for at least a couple weeks. I am with you there.
His ride or dies were the ones invited into the room during the campaign, but then once he won the election, those ones got...
Or, those dang millennials should just stop having avocado toast.
Kind of iced out, like Marjorie, and the quote-unquote neocons became Trump's besties and were always in the White House, and that's a part of why Marjorie believes Trump was convinced into going to war with Iran and some of the other actions that Trump has taken that she feels like are a contradiction of his campaign promises. Again, I don't want to beat this point too long, but the shock they feel about Trump not being an authentic advocate of working class needs, whatever that would mean to Marjorie, we saw coming from a mile away. Now, the part of this phenomenon that I'm now fascinated to see where it heads is, what is their takeaway in terms of policy? Okay, so we shouldn't have gone to war with Iran. Good, agreed. But then what else? What else, policy-wise, should be getting done? Because they'll say, I've seen a lot of right-wing accounts now being like,
what we shouldn't have done is gone to war with Iran without a serious, solid plan for regime change and all the things that we wanted. We shouldn't have gone into Iran fucking blind.
Healthcare prices are out of control. And man, why is it that you can think that you already paid your bill and all of a sudden they give you another bill and you're like, what the heck? Just surprise you with a bill. And you say, yes, you're identifying the right problems, but here's what I'm afraid of as people are kind of popping the champagne about some of these prominent right-wingers having some realization about the pro-oligarchy approach of Trump and how he is not an advocate of the working class or of Americans' needs. I think they're primed to just fall for another demagogue. That's my fear. I think they're primed to just be told, all right, now I'm really the person who can solve these problems through sort of authoritarian type approaches, as opposed to going,
this retard's gonna run for president, right? Like everybody's saying that.
Oh My gosh. So
Maybe the people we railed against so much,
are you?
who were begging us to talk more about fundamental economic policy proposals,
Drained a little bit.
substantive healthcare reforms.
Soul drained.
When Biden was in power, far from perfect, but actually was trying to get legislation done, not on cutting taxes for rich people, but actually pushing them up, closing loopholes, funding infrastructure projects, addressing some healthcare problems. Not enough, but trying to do little tweaks that were good. Making sure that we benefit from a green energy revolution. That doesn't mean that we just turn off, Biden turned off the tap of oil production. It hit record highs under his
No
presidency.
windmills, guys. Windmills cause cancer. Okay?
But instead, juice up the green energy that is cheaper and, of course, better for the planet and can allow those industries to be prosperous in the United States.
All right,
That's
Luke,
kind
you're talking about. It's just fucking boring. Let's see. What else is going on?
Oh my gosh. Right. That's fair. I don't think I would never feel brought down, but I get it. Yeah. Totally.
Think of the birds.
Yeah.
You see news that will trigger you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen some news already that triggered me. What are you talking about specifically?
Even though they're supposed to care more than others sometimes. Mm-hmm. Let us. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, that's telling. Yeah. So do I. Ooh. Well, that's healthy. Aw. I feel ya on that. It was for different reasons, though. I had, my stimulant and I had an
Well, good fucking thing. It's not NASA who gets to decide that, and that the director of NASA, who's installed by whatever fucking idiot, doesn't get to choose that. That's so stupid. Too restrictive? Okay, great. Let's add 9 new fucking planets to the solar system based on this. Yeah, you get to be a planet. You get to be a fucking planet. It's retarded.
Yeah, it's rare. I don't know. I used to get.
It's a technical classification.
Before I was medicated.
This is science, not public opinion.
Faster at that. You're really slow. And now they're saying like, "Oh, you're so fast."
Oh my god.
Like, and then I'm getting compliments, and they're like, "You're gonna be my boss soon." I'm like, I would take just.
Then we have to. Then we're gonna have a very crowded number of planets. Great.
It's wild.
Elon Musk wants it. That should tell you enough.
Oh heck yeah! Thank you. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely need more.
If Pluto were reclassified as a planet, it would likely mean promoting the other 4 officially recognized dwarf planets, Ceres, Eris, Haumea, and Makemake, to planetary status as well. However, experts note this could lead to recognizing dozens or over 1,000 additional Pluto-sized bodies as planets. It's fucking stupid. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Delegate.
That's not how science. You don't get to. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Barcode. You know this. You know that's not how it works. Holy shit. We're just, bro. No, I'm sorry. This is about standards of science. Okay. This is about standards of science, scientific standards, how classifications work.
Mm-hmm.
Big problem. I'm tired of letting public opinion influence fucking science. I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, and I won't stay very long here. Yeah. Right. I agree with that. Man, I hope so. Well, thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you get it. Yeah. And I thought I was making good money. And then I checked the minimum wage here. Thank you. Yeah, like, we'll see physically. Oh, did I?
That's not happening. That would be dumb. They're not doing
Oh,
this.
thank you.
Yeah, I saw that barcode. I'm really glad we think the actor in Star Trek
Thank you. Did you want to do ribbon tie?
is
Sweet. I couldn't find my way to the beach.
helping us make these decisions. I'm glad Elon Musk, the retard in chief, is doing this.
I'm not sure. I just know that I'm trying to use
Everybody's
this
a fucking moron.
Dockmaster
I can't.
detector.
I can't.
Okay.
See the SpaceX pay package for Elon?
Well, I've done
No,
it,
I
like,
didn't.
3
But
times now, but that
I'm betting it's fucking crazy.
Actually, the last 2 times it's pretty brutal. Nice. Yeah, the first time I think was with Ringo, and then yeah, by myself. So one was really nice. They gave me the agave, and then I forgot what it was for. I still don't know if I need it. It's like for but it's scrappy.
Wait, that's hilarious, Barcode. That's fucking hilarious.
I love scrappy. Oh, heck yeah. Let me go get some more ammo then. Oh, I gotta get out of the queue.
Or I don't think so, Barcode. I don't think there's something going on here. I think he's just that dumb. I think he's just that dumb.
Let's see. Guns. Yeah. Alright, I got the 60. I'm glad they increased the stackage. I'm gonna go shoot.
Yeah, pretty much.
What violent things could I buy in the store?
They want him gone so bad. I would too.
Oh, I haven't done that at all. Oh. Mullane? Oh. Mullen. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. It's a better guess than mine. Ooh, crafting. Gosh, yeah. I die so much. Okay. Netflix too.
The singing this shit's so disappointing. A million people on Mars, yeah.
so delightful. Yeah.
ลากเยอะๆแบบเนี้ยโตไวแน่นอนครับเร็วจะปลูกต้นมะละกอสีอย่าไปแมวมาฉี่ดูสิลุงน้อยปลูกต้นมะละกอมาฉี่ลงไปเลยโอ้โหไม่ต้องกลมให้เดี๋ยวกลมเองอยู่ดีๆคอนเทนต์ก็เข้าหาเฉยเลยนะครับไปเดี๋ยวกลมเอง
Yeah.
ช่วยหรอกโอ้โห
No, but honestly, like he probably thinks it's possible because he doesn't have any fucking clue about any of this.
I hope I didn't die and lose it. Right. True. Okay.
He threatened to leave Tesla if shareholders failed to approve the pay plan.
Yeah, I don't.
Jeez.
I don't. But I could take out the Raider hatch key.
Oh my god.
Raiders. Land. Okay.
Dude, this is so crazy.
Ooh.
It's like having a child in charge of the most valuable companies in the world.
Okay. Needs. I thought
Yep.
I had one, but I
True, Daniel.
probably lost it.
And terraforming on Mars isn't a realistic thing unless we understand how to restart
Oh, true. Yeah. 'cause
the
I didn't have
rotation
the
of the
coins.
core.
I know.
Oh, jeez, dude. Or spend tons of money in like
Shoot! I gotta
developing really, really good
I gotta
technologies
level
for
up.
keeping everyone alive. Fucking hell,
I just
man.
need a Hornet driver. Yay! Sweet. Thank you. I think I'm ready. Sweet. Nah. Right.
Let's do
I
a
don't
dailies real
think
quick.
So I've got my
Oh, what's this?
chargers. Oh, I
Gotta live in the lava tubes.
adrenaline back in there.
Oh, jeez. You know, people, that's a lot of poop potatoes. Imagine the great Irish Martian potato famine.
Or I should upgrade.
Here, let me throw some.
I could
Let me throw a
upgrade
little
them.
tiny on in the background, just to have some noise.
Their fundraising list for
while we
$6.5 million
do
was
our
additive to that. That was a good
dailies.
We purchased that list, and let me just say this, John, that happens all the time in campaigns and elections, as you know. Oh, I know, it's just a big chunk of money. That's why I was just wondering.
Well,
but-
but he made it sound like an exceptional thing. Oh, he's sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. Very nice.
Everyone else in the Senate candidates are raising a whole bunch of money and matching. You guys have the
Not
money
matching
as well.
Republicans. There's not matching Republicans. Every Republican committee will raise their counterpart. The
Right,
RNC.
not by double is with you guys in the RNC, but
Well, but you were just completely and totally fucking factually wrong. Right? Didn't you just get completely fucking anally gaped here by that comment that you just made? And to be clear, I appreciate this. I think we should be able to do these types of interviews. I think this is good journalism. But it only ever happens against the center left. Only, always, only and always against the center left. So Hassan, I see here that you said you wanted to that every
No,
Jew Zionist inbred
that
fuck
was a
is a
fake
pig.
out.
And like I know this is probably like out of context, right? So can you explain this, Hassan? Yeah. Oink oink, motherfucker. Yeah, like as a joke. Yeah, so in this next out of context quote, saw you at the gym yesterday, by the way, buddy. You were looking.
Is there like highlights?
Yeah.
Polish, buff, wax, shine.
I don't think so.
Nice.
All right.
Um,
I'll bring that. Now. Oh yeah, the Dockmaster's detector. I have two of them. Oh my goodness.
oof. Is
Ooh.
it comb?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a white.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, soften the landing. Oh, we could jump down farthest. Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. One thing you said go to Celeste with the seeds.
These
I
beers?
didn't know that you could do that. Oh, right. Assorted seeds. That's cool. Wonder what I should get. Need
Nice. Translucent golden things. Okay,
Oh,
fair.
wow. Oh.
Tiny watch face. I check sometimes Peace Corps privates and stuff. Main conf.
Okay. Smart. Oops. Gun parts. Yeah.
Waddle. Beak. Want to discount Musk. Everyone thought his Tesla Pay package was impossible. Barcode. You're being sarcastic on this one,
Ooh,
right?
buy some moss. I guess for scrapping. Canisters. I need those. Oh, look at that. Hey.
Bro.
Okay. I don't even remember
A
how many I
million
need.
people on Mars?
Let me go back and check. I also
Nice.
have to
Okay.
go
It was comb. Nice.
and request in a supply drop.
Numbers
from a
with
car
first letter
station.
change?
I had
Fuck
never done
off.
that
I hate
before, yeah,
those.
so wouldn't know
I-
how.
No, I would not
Okay.
bank on that one,
Oh, but
my
on the
good
beach,
friend.
says sample the shoreline near the hotel beach, and then fix the leaking pipe in the northeast. Battening down of Riventide's quests, yeah.
I mean, this looks like it could be Red
Sweet, let's
Square.
do it.
All of them are holding shit in Russian.
Yeah, I'm not very good at it by myself. Let's see. I'm just so focused on like not shot people.
The Kremlin. And then, what is the year? What does this look like? What year does this look like? Like the
Yeah, you're like,
30s,
let's go. I'm
40s,
ready. That sounds like
50s?
a
Something
party.
like that. Maybe even the 20s?
Especially the past couple days, I'm sure. You're just like, you're not fucking. I mean, that's how I get. All right. I did invite Ringo, but I don't think he's actually online.
What do you guys think?
Right. Let me see. Oh, yay. Yeah, it's great for that kind of thing. They always work well together, and then co-op games.
Nice!
Yeah,
Nice!
you guys are both like some of
Oh,
my favorite
fuck
people to game with.
you. What?
Hey,
Bro.
you're just not toxic, you know, you're fun, you're educational, all that. All the good stuff.
Bro, where
You don't
is
take it too
this?
serious, yeah.
What?
Thank goodness.
Bro.
Like, oh wow, I don't have to get abused if I'm not good at a game.
What?
Wow, concept.
What the fuck?
That's different. Sometimes I'll curse someone out, but friendly. Probably not.
Guys, what does
Okay,
this even look like?
I
They look Slavic?
Oh wait, what do I need to bring that I just bought? I got heavy gun parts.
Maybe.
Probably something like that. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they got like the head things.
Gosh,
I don't know.
eggs. I don't.
Let's try Poland.
I mean,
I
I'm
don't
down.
fucking know.
All I've been doing lately
48?
is the big guns, so.
Queen Elizabeth. Okay.
Okay.
This is Germany.
Nice. Oh wait, is that heavy ammo
Or
Sweet. I can deal with that. Alright, leave it and I'm ready.
no. Steendruckery. Amsterdam. Look at all the bikes.
The muzzle brake?
And this is like 30s or 40s cars.
Oh, I mean, I like silencer, yeah.
I looked close. It didn't look like an SS pin to me. It's like a lion or something, or I don't know. Oh wait,
Bam.
that's hard to tell. Let's say the 40s. It could be. And I'm gonna go with Amsterdam. 50. I was close.
I mean, I guess I could put more grenades in there.
Those cars looked a little old for 1950. Porcelain's Fabric.
Ooh. Oh, destination
That's
unavailable.
German, right?
Perfect.
And they've got the AE thing. That's German, right?
I guess, like, yeah, the ribbon, and then it was counting down.
Bing und Grondal.
Whoops. So sad. Only tears.
Ugh.
I know. Wait, does it come back or something? Okay, okay.
Landmannsbanken.
Come back. Aw.
I'm going Berlin again, because why not? And then this is what? The 60s?
Oh, so exciting.
67? No, it's
6-7.
Copenhagen.
I heard that, Jordan.
What?
I heard you say 67.
Oh, yeah.
I'm delighted that one of
I don't know. Germany's got a lot of weird fucking shit. I don't know. But it wasn't German, so. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
All right. Where do they have like a?
I'm so happy that you got that.
Where do they have like a?
Oh, I don't have the flashlight problem anymore, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I figured you wouldn't mind that. So, how many
outdoor
secret
rodeo.
grenades can I throw? Well, yeah, because I see a lot of fun things to hit them with. I'm gonna go.
Wonder if I can see it from the sky.
Okay.
Oh, I can't see shit.
Gotcha. Oh, wait.
Hey, that's a whole ass industrial area on the river.
They're gonna get you.
It's an outdoor rodeo. Bro, these dudes are fucking crazy.
Oh, gotcha. I feel like I was. Okay. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's LSU.
Okay.
Are you a red button or
See what it
blue
got.
button pusher?
No.
What do you
I'm
mean?
in from one of them. Right. Yeah. Oh. What's that blue thing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Never mind. Oh, thank you. I might need it. Let's see over there. Cool outfit. Thanks. Gee, thanks. Just bought it. You sound like Ariana Grande. Okay.
Well, I guess I pressed blue because people are
Thank you.
retarded, but
Oh,
if
wow,
people
I
were
didn't even
smart, every single
that.
person in the world would
Oh.
press red. But I don't think people are smart,
Oh,
so I'll
me?
press blue.
Wow. You earned it. Damn. So I would definitely just get like the blue one or whatever. Nice. Hey, I'll be happy if I can just get that one for now.
Yep.
Oh, shit. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm not
Maybe I
gonna
could
keep
read
looking
one.
around fucking Baton Rouge for some rodeo that's probably outside of it. This looks very recent. 2008. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That screwed me, bro. The quality of that was so high. I can't believe it. That one thing fucked up my final score. I'm so annoyed.
Oh, go to Crane. Okay.
I'm so
Oh,
annoyed.
right, people. Oh, there's a ball thing down there.
All right, what do we want to do? Any suggestions, guys?
Yeah? Oh, shit. There. No! Oh, at least something got damaged. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Wait, what is this?
Oh, like go down there and get it?
This is gonna be dumb.
It's decision
Oh,
time.
shit.
CENTCOM Commander
Yeah,
Admiral Brad Cooper has just briefed the president in the Situation Room about what could be the final blow. The U.S. military is preparing for a short and
What?
powerful wave of strikes.
Oh.
Targets.
Wait, what?
I did
This
see
was a
something
day ago?
pop up, but I didn't like. I didn't read it.
Oh yeah. That childhood right there.
How goes it? You need anything? I mean, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's high. Okay. Yay. Yeah, I did. Thanks. It was a total accident. Well, I don't know if it was total, but I just didn't think about it that hard, so I don't want to give myself credit. Wait, so that seeker grenade could kind of get them.
I really don't like that neighborhood. You
Like
just
the
pissed me
radar.
off.
Oh no.
Include the enemy's remaining military assets, leadership, and infrastructure.
Hell yeah.
Iran is proving to be very stubborn. The talks seem like they are stalled. Are you getting antsy to break the ceasefire?
Well, I mean, I don't know what stubborn is because really nobody knows what the talks are except myself and a couple of other people.
Oh.
They want to make a deal badly.
Yeah.
In case the Iranians needed a little nudge, the Pentagon's contemplating bringing a
making sure.
brand new weapon to the battlefield. The mother of all hypersonics, the Dark Eagle. It can hit targets 2,000 miles away. The enemy's last ballistic missile launchers are in the crosshairs. B-1 bombers have been surging into the region, and they can be armed with up to 5,000 pounds of hypersonics. It's a big payload. We're about to hit day 60 of the war. And if we're going by the book, and if you're asking Congress, that means the deadline for Operation Epic Fury expires tomorrow.
Classic.
But Trump could also do what Clinton and Obama did and ignore Congress and keep firing. The Secretary of War says technically we paused the clock 2 weeks ago.
Is the
Close to
president
something
intending
bad
to
there.
either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran
I don't have any more
or
grenades,
send us
but
the
we could-
legally required
Where-
certification that he
Like, where should I
Nice.
go? Where is it the most interesting? Because I'm not watching this whole thing.
Ooh, look at this door.
Just dumb. Jesse Waters is a piece of shit.
New friends?
5,000 pounds of hypersonics means? Who knows? Barcode. Jesse Waters is a supreme retard. Okay?
Should I shoot the Hornet?
That man probably doesn't know how to tie his own shoes. He probably has, you know, an
Yay, I
illegal
feel like we
Mexican
can be
do it for
friends.
him.
Please.
That's the kind of guy that he is.
Yay. That's Heck yeah, a baby demon. The username.
Daniel, where do you think I should?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Yes All Jews
Go down
article.
there and get
Okay,
some
fuck it.
bodies
We'll start from here. And then we'll just go until I get bored of it.
Ezra
wait,
Klein
there's
betrayed me. He backstabbed me. What an
So what
asshole.
did you suggest?
And then I read the article, and it was more about the Overton window than it was about any kind of specific Hassan Piker apologia, right? Yeah. But
I'm friendly.
But I'm happy that you made the Fuentes analogy, because to me, what you stated, which I think is true, and it's time for me to burn my goodwill with your chat, I might view Fetterman's moderate
Yes,
concessions to
will.
MAGA
Oh,
as necessary to
Yeah.
cool down the temperature of the
Yeah.
country, whereas you're saying, no, we should be unapologetically
Wait, is this the beach? It's like almost the shore.
Players, I will now explain.
Don't hit your head on the fan.
There will be 3 rounds. You will start on the square pillar,
Oh damn.
move on to the triangle pillar, and finally end on the circle pillar.
Oh, everything's coming.
Is that-
Everything's coming.
Are they watching Squid Game? I don't know.
On each stage, you will play a
There's
cooking
so
game.
many bad things.
Starting on the square pillar you are all currently standing on, if you as a group manage to push one or more
Are you okay?
off while they are
What is
still
that?
high, the round will end, and all remaining
What the fuck was that?
Oh my
What did you
God,
just
this
send
is
me,
wild.
Naomi?
I've never
Oh,
seen
shit.
a crawler. Oh no. Are you sure?
That was like some kid having a seizure.
I don't like it. Oh good. Okay. Gonna shoot
Dude,
him.
fucking X, dude. X is filled with some
Maybe not.
crazy shit. The fact that that was the first video on the homepage, when all I ever do is look at the fucking political links that you guys send me or whatever, random links, I do not understand how that
Scanner. Ooh.
was the first thing my algorithm served up.
Scan and snitch.
Go ahead, light it, big homie. Don't be shy.
Alright. I got you, gang. We
God,
finna spark up
please
right now. Shit gonna be cool, bro. I'm gonna get you faded. You in the hot box with me right now.
Hey, there we go.
Man,
Like
the
that
HDR
bitch,
is having
okay?
problems with
Look at
this.
you, eyes already squinting before you even hit it. You know it's been a
He
slap.
is crazy.
Go
looking.
ahead, take that first hole and
Oh,
hold it like
fuck.
a real one. I'm in this hot
No,
box
no,
with
no,
you,
no,
nigga.
no, no.
Spark that gas and blow it towards the camera so I can smell it through the screen.
I guess I was trying to see
Fucked
how
up
it's
together.
This shit strong, bro. Nigga, this shit strong.
Nigga, I heard that cough loud as fuck. You damn near choked on that shit, bro.
Pause.
What
There we go.
the fuck was that?
There are things we
Woo!
need to get done now.
Yes, and you're here telling me that I'm crazy. I'm crazy as a Democrat
Black
for saying
Mirror,
Fetterman bad is almost MAGA.
true.
It's just how most Pennsylvania Democrats think
Oh
of Fetterman
my
at this point.
God.
Again, I want to stress, minus 100 swing. I want to. How you doing?
Just like, it's, I don't know, man. I'm having like a really funny week. Can I share?
Yeah, bro, sure.
All right, I want to see
Okay,
this
so
about
the Yes All Jews article,
Yes All Jews
where it assigns
article,
collective guilt to the entirety of Jewish people for the sins of Zionism, has sparked an interesting perspective in my community. I think it's interesting or whatever. Where on one hand, I think the libertarian mentality is to reject collective guilt, and I feel like that mentality has become prevalent in the past few years, where the progressive collective guilt arguments have kind of been rejected. But I do think it's funny to say, no, let's steel man the collective guilt argument. But then let's figure out the rules. That way we can hold everybody collectively guilty for the sins of their people. And that's been really the memes that I've been playing with. But how are you doing and what's hot on your radar?
So you just want to start talking about Jews and gloss over the fact that you have no beard?
We need to
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, no. Well, first of all, yeah, good to see you. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. No, I saw like Wick had a panel with Doobie on that. Doobie, who of course we're employed by.
Yes.
You and me, we're both fellow employees. But no, I heard like some.
Wait, what?
Let me see.
They're employed by Doobie?
It's Crane House.
Wait, what is he talking about? Is that a meme?
Starts that sound like a totally unhinged and non-standard opinion on Jews' complicity in the Gazan genocide and related activities. I don't think that that is an accurate assessment of where the left generally is at. And if it is, it's of a small,
Not the left generally, but the far left? Sure. They don't care.
small minority of incredibly ideologically suspect
Oh,
left-wing
fuck.
people.
Can I try to steelman it for you?
No.
So arguably, based off of the stats that we were looking at, 40% of people identify as Zionist, and that basically of like Jews internationally or whatever. So that means not only do they support the existence of the nation state of Israel internationally or whatever. So that means that basically of like Jews internationally or whatever. Zionist. Arguably, based off of the stats that we were looking at for you.
Oh.
So arguably, based off of the stats that we were looking at, 40% of people identify as Zionist, and
identify
that basically of like
as
Jews
Zionist.
internationally or whatever.
Right.
So that means not only do they support the existence of the nation state of Israel, but they might even support expansion into the West Bank, Gaza, southern Lebanon, etc. They might even support expansion past that. But if you poll Jews on whether or not they want the nation state of Israel to exist, that polls at like 88%. And so the accusation from the article is that effectively like 90% of Jews approximately support the existence of the nation state of Israel, which by itself is a, let's just call it a problematic concept. And then out of the anti-Zionists, which would make up the remaining 12%, what the author asserts is that half of that approximately are quote unquote anti-Zionists, but they're liberal anti-Zionist. So that means that they want the nation state of Israel to continue to exist. They're just critics of its current expansion, and they don't want them to expand into the West Bank, Gaza, southern Lebanon, etc. And so the steelman, this person did say some pretty wild shit, but the steelman of the perspective is effectively that like that means that 95% of Jews are complicit in the crimes of the nation state of Israel,
So
and therefore,
disgusting,
until more
dude.
people are rejecting the nation, the project of the nation state of Israel, it's fair to paint Jews with a broad brush.
I mean, I obviously disagree with that. Did you mean liberal Zionists when you said that denominator there, one of the percentages? Or did you mean liberal anti-Zionists?
Yes, so 88% in general like support the nation state of Israel, whereas half of the people are liberal anti-Zionists, which is what I mean, which are people who don't want this would apply to Ethan Klein. Because Ethan Klein he identifies himself as an anti-Zionist because he rejects the expansion of the nation state of Israel, and he views himself as an ardent critic of the current government. But
he
also
wants Israel to
current nation
exist,
state of
which
Israel
makes him a
continue to exist.
Zionist.
And
It's
so
just-
that's what the article
No,
accused.
I mean, like, I'm glad Connor actually knows what Zionism really means. It's so fucking shitty. It's just shitty. I'm like, I can't even be angry about it anymore because it's just, I'm defeated. It's just so shitty that people who are not Jewish have taken that word and just twisted it to mean whatever they need for their political uses. It's fucking shitty, man.
Half of quote unquote anti-Zionist being.
Interesting. First of all, before we move on, I just have to a bunch of my comments. I don't know why everyone is like horny this morning, but everyone's saying that you look amazing. Did you put on bronzer? Faith Adams says, Connor, you look great. Connor sounds so smart when he says nation state. My chat has never been more pro Connor than it is right now. You're blushing. You're blushing. Holy shit.
I am. So I've gone swimming on the weekends. I have a YMCA membership, so I have been getting a little bit more sun. And then I did forget what my face looked like without like a giant bushy beard, so I trimmed it. It's not horrible. It's not my favorite, to be honest. I'm probably growing out the beard again, but I do think that
men never get compliments. This is why men never get compliments. You're not ready for this. You weren't prepared for that.
No, I love compliments. So it's okay. I'll ruin my goodwill with your community shortly. So
okay,
let's continue to talk until I ruin that goodwill.
My response to that is like, I think that's stupid that we would attribute people who like support the country of Israel as necessarily supportive of all the actions of its country. And that's including even, I guess, in that 91% or whatever the percentage was, some of the most ardent Jewish critics of the genocide, of war, et cetera, of expansion, let alone anything else. So we don't really talk that way, I think. Maybe some lefties do, about collective responsibility vis-a-vis like America, for example. I'm sure if you polled most Americans, they would tell you like, in general, we support America as a nation, America as a country, or as an ideal or something. And no one would say, well, therefore, I would reject people who say we're complicit in all of its actions. Even those of us who are against Trump and shit, you know.
This was so common in the political zeitgeist in the late 10s and early 20s. I kind of want to ask you about this. There was a push for, let's say with the Me Too movement and rape culture, for like to say, okay, yeah, sure, most men are not like forcible rapist criminals, but there's a sick subculture of men who act predatory towards women, and they do not get called out by their peers because it's viewed like a sport, I suppose, to like try to manipulate women into promiscuous sex, even if you're lying or even if you get them drunk or whatever. And so it's incumbent upon men as a gendered class to call out predatory
late 10s and early 20s. What do you mean?
Behavior within their community, even if they're not a part of the or even if they themselves do not predate, they cannot be neutral in the face of predatory behavior. And so that argument, if we
but they're not, right? I mean, the percentage
like
that you just described,
Me Too,
you know, it included people who were against. It would be like saying, yes, all men, even the men who call out the abuses of like Weinstein or whatever the fuck, right? So like, we're putting into that category.
Hold on. So let's not necessarily go with the argumentation of the article. What I'm actually asking you is what's your line? So for instance, like if we took this from an analogy standpoint, and let's just forget because the Jewish example is so spicy, let's just take it, let's go with like sex, or let's go with systemic racism or something. So if you were I'll bring up 2 examples, but I'll try to make them brief. If you were a man and you had a friend who lied constantly in order to get laid, right? He told women that, you know, he was 6 foot when he was really 5'10". He lied about how much money he made. He got them drunk. He took them to fancy restaurants where he worked so he could get a discount or some shit. And then he basically like slept with these women under false pretenses and then he ditched them. Then if you weren't a misogynist, I would presume, even though you weren't engaging in the predatory behavior yourself, I think most people of good faith and good conscience would say, your friend's a shitbag. He's manipulating women into promiscuous sex under false pretense. And as a result, if you don't call him back, or if you don't call him out, you're complicit in his shitbaggery. And then quick, similar example, let's say you're like a cop or something, and you have a guy who is like, he openly is just like, fuck the black community. This is where all the crime is. I'm going to patrol the fuck out of it. And every single person I can jam up on any crime, I'm going to fucking jam them up because the blacks are the problem. Like, if you don't, even if you're a good cop,
I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just acknowledging the hypothetical. Sorry.
Well, yeah. But even if you're a good cop yourself, if you don't call out that predatory behavior, then some people would accuse you of being complicit. And so I'm trying to ask you, where's your line between neutrality and complicity?
Yeah, no, I think that people do have affirmative obligations and duties to act beyond just their own conduct and to call certain things out. It really is contextual. I think in the context of like interpersonal stuff, I think that is probably better accomplished. And sometimes I'm like skeptical of the like public shaming or public displays or whatever, in the context of like something that could be resolved, not in the public sphere, and where actually maybe it's more likely that it will be. But that might be different if there's like a widespread pattern of criminal activity, or if it reaches a certain threshold, or if we're talking about police conduct, right? Where that's something that you want to report to internal affairs or whatever, because what you're talking about there is like racist activity, et cetera, et cetera. So my intuition about the affirmative duty to report and what that looks like might be different as between different conduct in different environments. And even like interpersonally, I can imagine it reaching a threshold where you would make a long Twitter thread or make a report to the police, et cetera. It really, I know this is so annoying, but I think it really, really does depend.
Yeah, unfortunately,
time is soon coming when you say back in the 20s
we were on Prime last night debating this, and so my real position is probably your position. That obviously, like, context matters.
Why are you trying to make us feel so fucking old today,
Are you complicit through your inaction? Is this an associate? Is this a friend? Like, all these variables have to be calculated out for what your degree of complicity is within the action. But what was funny is that I feel like Doobie, in an attempt to steelman, no offense, Doobie.
You're hurting my heart.
In an attempt to steelman the argument, he was effectively saying, like, no, this is so bad. Like, the war crimes or genocide in Gaza is so bad. The annexation of southern Lebanon is so bad. The Bibi Netanyahu, there was even a quote in the article where Bibi Netanyahu, he doesn't recognize the West Bank as sovereign Palestinian territory. Yeah, he's calling it Judea and Samaria. And he's saying, not only are we not going to listen to international pressure, we're not even going to listen to domestic pressure. We're not even going to listen to our own citizens who don't want to expand into the West Bank. We're going into the West Bank. And so Doobie is saying that this is so egregious and comparable to the sins of settler colonialism of the 1500s through 1900s that if we don't take effectively what would be like an anti-Nazi stance in the early 20th century, then we're complicit in this project. So
if we don't say yes, all Jews were complicit in the project, is that the claim, or is it basically the claim that...
more like not doing the kind of sweeping that I'm guilty of. So for instance, like I can't defend the annexation of southern Lebanon, but my instinct, of course, is to say, oh, well, there were rocket attacks from southern Lebanon and blah 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 blah, and this is why Israel's doing it, and the Litani River is a clear border that establishes something firm between them and Lebanon. But realistically, like even if I do that steelman, what are we really talking about? We're talking about military armed forces invading a sovereign neighbor and then kicking out, I think, 600,000.
No, you're win.
Oh, jeez.
I believe in you.
Spirit? I'm checking their website.
Hey!
Still no updates. What happens if we try to book something?
Sweet. I'm sorry. Well, we accomplished. Yeah.
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 Huh. Oh God, Daniel.
Members of an ethno-religious group based off of their religion, and then saying those people can only come back with the explicit permission of the state. That's ethnic cleansing.
Oh yeah,
right?
sure. It's a second Nakba.
Yeah, but because of the post-World War II sympathetic history of the Zionist project and the Holocaust, there's a instinct from Westerners, Zionist sympathetic Westerners, including myself, to try to steelman it. Whereas, let's say this was happening in Sudan, then we would be like, what the fuck? Like, ethnic cleansing is fucked. We don't care what your geographic, justification for it is. You can't do this shit. There wouldn't even be an attempt to steelman it.
I'm not sure that there wouldn't be an attempt in other contexts. Maybe it wouldn't have been. There wouldn't be as a concerted propaganda effort within Western society to have a conversation about it. But there's just less conversation about some of these contexts in general. And that has been noted oftentimes by both Israel critics. In terms of what's the term they have, the Hasbara situation, but also
Hasbara propaganda.
Of Israel defenders.
This morning, by the way, do you need to like go drink a white monster or something? Like, do you need some prescription amphetamines? Like,
so basically, I told you that my chat is calling you handsome. Now you're coming at me for being too sane, and the implication is, of course,
no, I'm expecting you to come in with like a progressive elbow and go, that's what I was expecting. So.
I've never been one of these like idpol people who think that it makes sense either from just like a rhetoric perspective or from like a collective guilt perspective to say things like yes, all Jews. You might be saying something like, no, actually, what I'm communicating is something super important. I'm just trying to bring attention to a problem that is particularly true among the Jewish community. And but that's not what people are hearing. What people are hearing is that all Jews in some way are complicit in Israel's actions. And I just think that is a form of collective punishment that in general I find anti-Semitic. I don't think it's true that we would ascribe moral culpability on the basis of your religion to all Jews.
So
and you can try to slice it up and dice it and make it,
they're just going to have to refund people.
Would we ever say not all Germans when it came to the Holocaust or something? Actually, there were some Germans who defected. There were some Germans who weren't complicit in the Holocaust. And I don't have a problem with you saying, dissecting historically and saying, well, this is what happened and there was this event and then the Holocaust happened. I thought that one of the critiques of and I certainly am not a revisionist, but one of the critiques from the perspective of a lot of like lefties and doubters of this collective memory or this very flattened and sterile discourse about the Holocaust is precisely that, is the lack of context, the lack of, critical analysis and basically just repeating of 6 million Jews died and it was awful and that's it. I don't even necessarily agree with that critique, but if you're coming from the leftist perspective, I think you should be sensitive to the fact that a lot of conversations require nuance and context to get to the bottom of stuff.
I appreciate your sanity. I'm going to steelman Doobie one more time, but unfortunately you're being too sane for me to disagree with actively. So what he brought up was that denazification actively.
Delia, she sees Zionism as equal to Nazism. She thinks the normalization of Zionism within the Jewish community and Jewish institutions is akin to the normalization of Nazism in Germany.
So what he brought up was that denazification in Germany post World War II was effectively cultural collective punishment, and we don't really criticize that collective attempt because we basically say that the Nazis were so dominant culturally in Germany that even if you were neutral or ambivalent or even like tepidly hostile, but you didn't do anything about it, then you still share some level of like national collective responsibility for the sins of the Holocaust. And so if we're okay with the attempts of denazification in Germany, why wouldn't we have a similar attitude to like de-Zionism in reference to the nation state of Israel?
Because it's not the same
the expansionist project in particular, like taking over Gaza, expanding into the West Bank, and also taking southern Lebanon up to the Litani River. This is ethnic cleansing. So why are we tolerating it? Why are we sanitizing it? Why are we steelmanning it? Because they're our ally and bad shit happened to Jews 80 years ago. And I agree with the instinct to protect the sovereignty and sanctity of the individual, but I do think that these arguments are at least interesting.
I mean, they're interesting insofar as this person was unhinged when she...
Thank you, Pisco. Are you fucking serious, Connor?
But I do have a medium shield, which is kind of nice.
They're about as interesting as a wet zucchini, dog.
Titled her article and then wrote her article. I mean, that's interesting to me. But this can go both ways. If you want to start talking about collective responsibility, and that's essentially the justification for the conduct in Gaza and the bombing of individuals in Gaza. And you can say all you want. Oh, the election was in 2006. Oh, no, actually, it's not clear to me that the people pre-October 7th were so disgruntled with Hamas that it really was not a fair representation of the viewpoints of a lot of Gazans, or at a bare minimum that it would be so unlike the Nazi situation in terms of the connection between the people and their leaders. And it's certainly like after the Nazis gained power and the Enabling Act whatsoever, there weren't like free and fair elections in Germany. It's not so simple for Germans to leave their own society. Not everyone has a cousin in another country and has an ability to exit, or like many of them were prisoners in their own country. And there was obviously like a great deal of issues with representation in Nazi Germany and having free and fair elections, whatever. So I think the analogy breaks down, and then you have to like rewind the clock of like, well, who started it? And that to me is like, okay, an exercise in futility, and that's just loading a bunch of other normative questions that are hotly debated. And so why even just talk about these like collective guilt stuff? It's easier for me to just focus on the beliefs and attitudes and perspectives of individuals, or you can speak of them collectively, but only in so much as they share a common vision or worldview. When it comes to
All right, once
when it
again,
comes to culpability.
you're being too sane. You're being too sane for me to attack. So I guess what I would say is we could dance around for this for a little bit. I do think it's the discourse du jour. So if you had any like insights or particular things that you wanted to share, unfortunately, I think my meme position is let's do the collective responsibility thing. That way I can like fuck with Prime, and like every time he comes on my show, I can be like apologize for black criminality, and then when like a Jewish person comes on my show, I can be like apologize for Zionism.
You told Prime to apologize for black criminality, guys. So you don't. Anyone doesn't know Prime is a black guy. He's like a political commentator, and he hosts panels.
Dude, I fucking hate Prime.
And as far as I know, has no criminal record. Why do you give Prime responsibility for black criminality?
That's what I'm saying. I can use the collective guilt argument to say he's neutral in the face of disproportionate black criminality. And I can say, Pisco, apologize for the racist casta system in South America. Apologize for the racial hierarchy in Central and South America, and then I can try to hold you collectively responsible for that.
I mean, to the extent
that's funny to me.
To the extent that somebody is like articulating a view which has led to certain results in the past, I don't think it's unfair for you to be like, you are spreading the ideology that X, Y, or Z, right? You are spreading MAGA ideology. You're spreading the ideology that imprisoned millions of, liberals and anti-communists in these different societies. So if someone is articulating a worldview or a set of propositions that have like a track record of bad shit in the past, I don't have a problem with you doing that. What I have a problem with is like going after Prime for black crime because he's black.
That's the meme position.
Okay.
My real position is your position. I'm doing
That's the meme, exactly.
I'm doing the meme position, hopefully to demonstrate its absurdity. But
yes, that was exactly. How did you? Wait, Pisco, how did you not understand that that's what he was saying?
Be like apologize, and then like they can be like, no, you apologize, and then you just fight about whose people are collectively more guilty.
I'm gonna turn YouTube off because I'm having things that I'm being reminded of, and they're copyrighted, and I want to show them. Bye, YouTube. Fuck you.